The stories told in this radio series were drawn from a collaborative research study of alcohol-related problems in Uganda. The study focused on techniques Ugandans living in the suburbs of Kampala use to respond to cases of problem drinking. Given the relatively recent introduction of Western ideas of alcoholism and addiction in Uganda, most people sought help for their problems outside the formal medical system. They visited herbalists to buy herbal emetic therapies. They made offerings to the Rubale spirits in the shrines of Basamize. They prayed for deliverance in the Pentecostal and Charismatic churches. This radio series is a collection of their stories. The stories told here are true as remembered by the people who shared them with the research team. The research team hopes that in sharing these stories with you, that you may come to learn about the wide range of techniques people use to resolve situations of problem drinking. I had long struggled with my drinking. My wife and children often hid in the bush to escape my violent rages. And my relatives told me that they had started to pool money to take me to a herbalist for treatment. But one night in 2015, I went out drinking with my friends. As I was driving home, I parked my motorcycle at my grandmother's house. She later told me that she saw the bike and then saw me emerging from behind the house, and that I had suddenly threw myself down on the ground and cried aloud, saying, "I am your daughter and I am not Kato. Let me kill him." She said that I started hitting my head on the ground and that blood started to ooze from both my nose and my ears. Because of the voice, she knew that this was my mother beating me, and she cried out aloud, "Please don't beat him. You're going to kill your son. Leave him alone." At 3 a.m., the beating finally stopped. I fell there on the old sacks, and I was like a dead person. My grandmother slept next to me. Sometimes she woke to feel my pulse and to check and see if I was still breathing. She cleaned the blood off me and covered me with her old cloth. At 5 a.m., I woke to ask, "Where did I sleep?" She answered me that "You slept here." I looked down and saw myself and saw that I was looking filthy. She told me, "Your mother beat you and said that if you won't stop drinking alcohol, she will kill you." After I slept a while longer, she gave me water for bathing and another relative's trousers and shirt. After dressing, I packed my dirty clothes in the sack and went. When I went home, I feared to tell my wife what had happened, and because I had been drinking for many days, I had nowhere to start explaining to her, knowing that she was angry. My stomach was making funny sounds. When I breathed, I only smelled alcohol. When she gave me tea, it was also smelling of alcohol. In my stomach, there was something hard like a stone. Then one day, I was sleeping, and something came in a dream, in my mother's voice. The voice said to me, "Go and get one of my clothes, wash it, and drink the water in which you washed it. I am the one who is causing you to feel this way." Finally, I told my wife that I have been drinking alcohol for all these days, but I got a problem. I cannot tell you more about the problem, but I want you to go with me to see my grandmother. I remembered that my mother used to give clothes to my grandmother. We both went to Jaja, the grandmother, and she told me, "Since you know that the voice was of your mother, kneel down and plead. Say, 'Help me, I will not drink alcohol again.' God passed through your mother to make you stop drinking, and it's her that you have to plead to but speak knowing that you will not drink again because you may get a problem. When I came back home, I did exactly that. I knelt down in my sitting room. I was feeling hungry, but when they gave me food, it was smelling of alcohol. I knelt down and said, Mama, if God passed through you to make me stop drinking, I will not drink again. But I am asking you one thing, that remove that thing from my stomach so that I can eat food again. When I stood up, I felt dizziness, as if the room was rotating. My stomach loosed at once and I felt a strong diarrhea that I wanted to go to the latrine. I had diarrhea for 2 days. But in 4 days, I stopped feeling the thing in my stomach and regained my energy. I held my machete and went to go and slash in the bush. But it took me a long time before water and food stopped smelling of alcohol. So it was my mother who made me to stop. My family never invited her and they didn't bother with the medicine. My late mother became my medicine. She moves with me. If I make a mistake, I can get a problem. Since this time, I have avoided drinking entirely. I still buy warrage and beer for my friends occasionally, and still spend time in bars in my village and in town, but I do not drink. When my friends ask me why I do not drink, I tell them that my leg was operated on and I was taking medicine for that. My mother has not appeared again in such a dramatic way, but she continues to be present in my life. She still appears in my dreams. Sometimes she doesn't look like my mother, but I see a woman in my dreams whenever I have difficult decisions to make. She never comes in a cruel way anymore. When she comes, I first cry out, but the voice which comes out of me is of my mother. My children never saw my mother in her life, but they heard the voice that came out of me. The study was carried out by Dr. China Shaz, George Mpanga, and Sarah Namirembe, and was funded by the University of Virginia, the National Science Foundation of the United States, and approved by the Uganda National Council for Science and Technology. In accordance with the requirements of the Uganda National Council for Science and Technology, they have changed the names of the people involved, as well as places and other identifying details.